Hello, hello. Today we've got a little bit of High Elves Vampire Counts action for you. For the High Elves, we got RTK Charix. For the Vampire Counts, we have Kark, Vampire Counts Extraordinaire. So I've been wanting to cast one of Charix's game for quite a while now because he plays a very elite style of High Elves, which is pretty unique these days, especially among RTK players who are known for going with much wider builds, Lothran Spam, Mass Cav, like that kind of thing. So going for this elite SE and Archer core is very atypical, especially in Vampire Counts, where you typically want to be having lots of units to actually clear out and have the DPS to kill all the zombies and the skeletons, which can take a lot of time usually. So I'm very curious to see how he's able to actually manage, if he's actually able to manage all of these Vampire Counts bodies effectively in order to actually take these points. So for his build, we have Techless up on his Phoenix, Potion of Chori, Boundfire Convocation, Sword of Techless, Regrowth, Net of Amantok, and Kindle Flame. So nets are something we actually don't see a whole lot in Domination, and I'm curious to see if he actually gets good value out of this, and what his real intention is for it. We got another Arcane Phoenix as well. We have two Shadow Walkers, which don't see a lot of play these days. I don't think in Domination or in land battles. But I kind of like them in this scenario against Vampire Counts because, well, their missiles are pretty high damage, so they can actually be a nice missile support unit, shooting single entities, cav, monsters, infantry, whatever. And then they can actually go into melee against Vampire Counts pretty safely. Typically, they don't want to be in melee. They're very squishy. They're only 5,000 HP, 60 models. But against zombies and skeletons, well, they're not very high damage output infantry anyway. They're really just, HP bags. So these guys have pretty high melee damage output with 12 bonus for infantry, excellent stats, so they can actually be a bit of a lawnmower against those Vampire Counts infantry, which is something that High Elves can really struggle with. So having that backup option is really nice, and they really serve that full dual purpose. And then rounding it out, we have a pair of Silverin just to hold down the fort on the objective and grind through some of those zombies and skeletons. For the forces of the Vampire Counts, we have a healthy smattering of zombies, some skeleton and spears, skeleton swords, the Sternsman, pair of unholy lodestone corpse carts, two White Kings, both with Scab's Wraith, a Blood Knight, and the Count Vlad von Karstein himself, with Master Beguilement, Raised Dead, Invocation, and Blood Drinker. This is a fairly typical Counts build these days, aside from like Vlad and the Blood Knight. White Kings are pretty much a must-take for Counts these days. You see two of them pretty much every matchup with Scab's Wraith. Scab's is very good at clearing out lots of lightly armored infantry. They grind through all against infantry themselves. They put them on horseback. They're very disruptive against missiles. But here we just have them on foot to grind against the High Elf front line and give a little punching power to the Count's front line. Vlad's a bit of an odd pick, but I kind of like him here. The constant frontline source of terror against the High Elves who don't have any real source of ITP is very effective. Although I suppose... No, it's the Oro Arcane Phoenix that does the ITP Oro. You also have a nice little volley coming in against this corpse guard, doing pretty good damage. Ain't that neat? But yeah, helping grind on the front line, ITP, or terror, as well as just having those zombie summons consistently in the front line. And the healing is pretty nice, and he's pretty tanky against, an Imric, or in this case a Techless, that might want to try and snipe out the High Elf, or the Vampire Counts character, as High Elves are typically quite good at taking down those big Dragon Lords with, Imric, or Tempest, or Archers, so having a Lord that's safe on the ground is quite nice. And the Blood Knights are just to contest any of the High Elf mobility, which can be quite a problem for Vampire Counts in this matchup. So, let's get this show on the road. So yeah, Archer's shooting in right at the corpse cart, and the corpse cart is just juking for dear life. Like, look at these zombies just getting jiggy with it back and forth. Trying to dodge arrows. These guys are like one of the slowest thing in the game, just juking all sorts of circles, trying to dodge these arrows. Doing a pretty good job of it, to be honest. I can imagine Kark just sitting there just spam clicking all over the place. But doing a pretty good job keeping the corpse cart alive, and that's something I noticed Charix is really, what seems to be part of his game plan in this game, is take out those corpse carts early and really knock the legs out from under this Vampire Counts infantry push. Get rid of the healing, the vigor refresh, the melee stats, and really just make everything the Vampire Counts have trade a lot worse. They don't have that corpse cart support that is so crucial to Count's identity in Domination these days. Because, the buffs they provide are just incredible. Leadership, healing per second, vigor refresh, and melee stats is just incredible. So taking that out straight away means that everything you see here for the Vampire Counts is going to just trade much more poorly. Like zombies, their stats are 5 and 6. If you give them +5/+5, oops, I mean, then you're doubling their combat effectiveness. So instead of having like a 100 gold infantry, you're getting like twice the value out of that. Like twice the effective HP, twice the damage output. It's incredible. We have another Blood Knight summon coming in. For Elves, we have another Civilian coming in, just trying to hold down the fort on objective number 1. And this is something you need to be very careful of when you are running these elite builds, is getting 3-capped. You're really trying to trade for value as you don't have the bodies to take space as aggressively. So you really need to make sure you're not being 3-capped, because it buys you more time. Having at least one objective means you have more time to trade for value, more time to clear out all this chaff, and take the objectives back yourself. Blood Knight's taking a couple of volleys. Front lines are engaging. The Silverin are under literally no threat from these zombies. They'll sit here and chew them apart for days. They can kill zombie after zombie after zombie, so they're perfectly happy to just sit there and grind. Well, honestly, these corpse carts being so far back, because they had to dodge the arrows, is a big deal. Like I said, the skeletons and zombies be trading much more poorly. We have a nice Ember Storm coming in here, just roasting loads of zombies. The skeletons dropping their leadership immediately. Again, the heals are still out of range, so pretty good value there. Zombies are just trying to chase off these Shadow Walkers. Blood Knights come in as well. Not really sure what their ideal target is. Taking some shots from the Shadow Walkers. Get some Rangers coming as well, just to be a nice little lawnmower unit. Chew through all that lightly armored Count's chaff. Nice fiery convocation coming in. It's the bound one from Techless, I believe. Just coming right through the Sternsman. Oh, baby a birdie. Gets the Skeletons too for some collateral. In come the Fireborn. Lots of shots being going down onto those Blood Knights over here, doing good damage. Techless and the Bird both dive onto this corpse cart. Doing some nice work, and again, just chasing away from the front line. Doing what you can. Invocation coming in to try and heal it up. Techless coming over here. Looks like he's getting a net down on those Blood Knights. They can't get the charge. And the Fireborn charge right in and get a beautiful engagement. No charge bonus for the Blood Knights, but they usually have 80 charge bonus. It's huge. Just look at the damage difference. Look at if she's getting the charge or not. The Blood Knights are being torn apart by the Fireborn, have taken practically no damage in return. Healing will probably come in for them. Yeah, looks like we have an Invocation coming in. But the fire damage from Fireborn is negating it. Actually, it's a regrowth. Master Bergamo going down to try and keep them alive longer, but they're crumbling already. They're half health, they're crumbling. Invocation was just used on a corpse card, so it's not readily available, actually. So doing very, very good work. Second Blood Knight coming in to try and help out, but the Shadow Walkers have done a number on it already. So it's very, very low, and this cav engagement is huge for the High Elves, because without the Blood Knights, there's nothing to contain these Fireborn. Fireborn can do whatever they want. So can the Phoenixes. That's a big issue. Overcast Inva coming in, trying to keep these Blood Knights alive. The Fireborn with the regrowth, doing very, very good work. Already up to probably 1,200 value. Techless helping out, the Phoenix helping out. Like I said, getting rid of those Blood Knights means that those Fireborn and the Birds are just free to go over wherever they want. Start rear charging, get on top of this corpse cart, get some rear charges in over here, do whatever they please, and that's just a huge problem for Counts, not having any mobility control anymore without those Blood Knights. You invest like 3,200 gold in those Blood Knights, and it's just gone, and that's a massive value lead immediately for the forces of Charx, but he's giving up a 3-cap in the process. Like I said, you really don't want to be 3-capped as this more elite build. So you are now on a very tight clock to actually start getting back on these objectives and trading for value. Vlad and the White Kings do get onto their King. Phoenix just does scurry away. The Dragon Prince is coming in to screen it out, as well as get some nice damage on that corpse cart, which is usually Charx's target, it seems to be. Blood Knights are gone. Fireborn are half health, but you still got 46 Fireborn with another regrowth coming down. And they're just free to start getting rear charges into wherever they want. Then the Sternsman, or what's their target going to be? Looks like they're just going to chill out and get that regrowth a moment. The Shadow Walkers fire again. The Crypt Horrors have newly arrived. The Silverin are starting to get worn down, which is bad for the High Elves' point presence. Another nice Ember Storm coming in, turning apart the Sternsman. Corpse Cart, again, being target of Techless, taking it apart very, very quickly, as it doesn't have that much HP. And now the Fireborn are getting a nice downhill charge into what's left of these Blood Knights and this zombie summon. Make sure to get them off the field for good, so they can't be healed up. Vlad moving up to try to get some zombie summons on these Shadow Walkers, but they're really not threatened by zombies. Their melee stats are amazing. They'll tear these zombies to pieces. So, Dragon Princes fighting into these Crypt Horrors. Crypt Horrors have a hard time beating Dragon Princes. Their melee defense is just so high. Without the, I guess they do have Corpse Cart support here, so their melee stats are doing okay against them. Vlad just running back in, getting that real dramatic run. Sword held aloft. Only just gets stopped by a lone High Elf Spearman. On the high ground, High Elves are staying out on that fight. The Sternsmen have been just battered by Ember Storm after spell after Ember Storm. So High Elves will be retaking Objective 1 fairly quickly, but they have a lot of ground to make up. They're down a lot of objective tickets, and though they do have a pretty hefty value lead, still a lot of healing for counts. There's the corpse cards, and there's the invocations coming in, there's Crypt Horror's natural regeneration, although one of those is about to disappear. Charix has a real distinct hatred for these corpse cards. The Vlad and the White Kings are probably going to try to protect it from this Phoenix. The Phoenix isn't in a ton of danger. Again, it's got good melee stats, and it has a regrowth available if it needs it, as well as its innate healing from, which one is it? Fiery Rebirth. And Fireborn getting a nice recharge in these Crypt Horrors. They're anti-large, they're fire damage. Crypt Horrors are weak to fire, so doing really nice damage there. Tearing apart. A little bit of a botched charge, like this kind of got janky animations, but still good damage. Pyramid Company coming in, just trying to get that capture in the point. Summons getting in their way. And just kind of wasting their time, which is a real bad symptom for the High Elves in this matchup. Like, the Count summons just slow them down so much. Their infantry doesn't have a lot of damage output. So you're really relying on those birds and these fire convocations to do the work for you. Let's get some good kills here on the zombies, I think. Yeah, just some zombies and a little bit of Crypt Horror peppering. But Vampire Counts are really starting to get a pretty hefty objective ticket lead. They've still got the 3-cap for the moment. High Elves are going to take this in a second, but they haven't gotten there just yet. So High Elves are still really far behind in the objective tickets, but complete mobility dominance from that really nice Blood Knight play is just making it so these princes can just charge whatever they want. Teclis in a little bit of trouble here, surrounded by Crypt Horrors. Got the Vlad and the White Kings beating on him as well. Getting a little rough for our boy. Still got both his potions of Shori, though, if he needs that heal. Oh, no, all three. I think it's 3 charges? Okay, well, out of that blob pretty comfortably. Birds are notoriously slippery, so it'll just slide away from the Crypt Horrors pretty safely. The Pyramid Company probably going to be able to support. And the Dragon Princes, once again, just charging right in the back of these Crypt Horrors. The fire damage and anti-large doing really good work against them. Tearing them apart. Sundered armor as well, bringing them down to 0. The regen is botched from the healing, or from the fire. Doing very good work there. And looks like we do have a back-cap attempt coming in from the High Elves. All that's back here is Skeleton Warriors. These Leer and Reaver Archers will actually outcap them, as well as maybe even beat them in melee. Shadow Warriors are also walking up, trying to get some shots on the Reinforcing Crypt Horrors, and perhaps threaten that objective over here as well. There's some Hounds coming in to answer, which should be able to deal with these Cav. Alright. Like the middle does seem to be going pretty heavily in the High Elves' favor. There's no real threats to these single entities, but the cap weight is going back in favor of the High Elves, so they can start to make up the gap in the objective points pretty quickly. Dogs just starting to chew on the Illyrian Reavers. The Illyrian Reaver Archers do have pretty good melee stats for skirmish cav, though, so they're pretty durable there. This Shadow Walker as well will come in and start tearing them apart. And more importantly, they're starting to get a 3-cap. High Elves are about to reverse 3-cap. They get a nice intercept on all these reinforcements, nothing to support these Crypt Horrors, a net, no zombie support, so they're just getting torn apart by the Fireborn. Half health already. Corpse Card as well is in trouble. The Skeleton Summon isn't exactly where you want it, and the Pyramid Company is here to chew through it as well. And also, it's a sword unit, it's not a spear unit, so it's not going to do a whole lot to these Dragon Princes. They're just tearing apart the Crypt Horrors. I already almost said, this is one of the tankiest. This unit is so tanky. So, just tearing apart very quickly. Just doing so much work to Fireborn. Nice Ember Storm coming in, getting rid of the summons, the spears as well. Shooting apart all of that Vampire Counts infantry that is such a problem for High Elves in this matchup. And the backup attempt is in full swing. There's a single skeleton and some Shadow Walkers. Why is this in favor? Oh, there's dogs here. That's why. Yeah, like I was saying earlier, the Shadow Walkers really serving that dual purpose of chewing up the infantry. They'll chew up these dogs too. Like I said, they have very high melee stats. They'll tear these dogs apart very quickly, especially with the cav support. They'll do very nice work here, tearing these guys up. They're just smattered in the blood of many zombies. And the dogs are crumbling away. More dogs coming in as well, but like I said, melee defense is so high on these guys that the dogs have a hard time getting much damage to stick on them. The Reaver Archers are coming up, and also I wouldn't mind seeing a Dragon Prince headed over there to try and support that backup as well, but they seem to be a bit tied up here. Once here, looks like the Fireborn did rattle off. Only a few of them left, and probably not even worth regrowing at this point. I also have a pretty secure hold on objectives number 2 and 3, but they do need a 3-cap at least temporarily. Need to get on objective 3. Dire Pack coming in. Again, doing pretty good against the Illyrian Reaver Archers, but their melee attack just isn't quite high enough to improve their melee defense. I guess the bonus for large helps a bit. Shadow Walkers as well, just tearing apart these dogs. Dogs, like, these guys are really good at killing dogs. One of their main purposes is that they're just pretty good at fighting those infantry-sized monsters with low stats. Though we do have some more zombies coming in, although zombies have very little capture weight and will not trade super well into the Shadow Walkers. The Shadow Walkers are getting exceptionally low. As I said, they're very squishy, which is a big problem for them here. But Teclis and the Phoenix are coming to make sure that they do get this capture point, because I think Charix is aware that he has to 3-cap at least temporarily. So he's doing everything in his power to make sure that happens. And he sees the Crypt Horror coming in, and it's like the threatening unit, and just immediately techless in the bird, or I don't know, just the bird. Going just to intercept it, realizing that this is the threat, slow it down as much as you can, get it to fight off the objective. And like, this isn't a great fight for the bird, but it's fighting where your opponent doesn't want it. Like, forcing it to fight beforehand on the objective is huge, because that means the High Elves can't get that 3-cap they so desperately need, and they can start to make up the difference in objective tickets rather rapidly. Because a 3-cap gets you tickets so fast. And now we have Dragon Princes coming in as well, Lyran Reavers, and Teclis just trying to hold off this fight. Any Ember Storms left to try and clear off this blob? I think we're out. Yeah, use all 3. Does Teclis not get those? I guess he doesn't get those. There's the mount, probably. And the Fireborn, again, just trying to slow down your opponent's reinforcements, make sure these zombies take as long as possible to get back to the center. But Vlad is shooting through the High Elf infantry, and even these elite Swordmasters that I didn't even notice coming in. Master Regalia coming down on them, down to 14 melee attack, and Vlad is just chunking away at them. He hits really hard, 430 AP weapon strength. Swordmasters are not a terribly tanky unit, so they do have very nice stats, but Vlad is just carving them up himself. With the Corpse Cart support and some zombies to make sure he's never really surrounded. They are probably doing some nice damage to him back, but I mean, he's just constantly healing from Blood Drinker and from Corpse Cart, so he's not really under any threat of dying from them at the moment. The little High Elf blockade up here is starting to wear thin. Dragon Prince is really the only thing holding. Shadow Walkers are just about done for. The River Archers are routing towards the edge of the map. The bird is getting quite low, though it does still have its rebirth available. It should. Yeah, it should be just fine. If not, there's a regrowth from Teclis that can always patch it up. But Vampire Counts are going to be retaking this objective for too terribly long, but at this point, High Elves don't need to hold a 3-cap anymore. So they can just fall back to objective number 2 and 1 and just try and hold on for dear life. But we do have more and more zombies just constantly staggering forward. And a D7 coming on the Silverin. That's probably really important. It's like, I doubt he has any infantry really to summon at this point. He got Shadow Walkers, and like, that's the problem with this elite of a build, especially with this much healing for the High Elves. It's like, well, you need to make sure you have things to summon, because he's probably shuttling Shadow Walkers, that's the only thing he has to summon. Because, like, the units that aren't on the field have just routed off. It's like the Illyrian River Archers that just route off the field. And even if you summon them, they're not that useful. It's not really what you want right now. You need infantry on this point. Teclis is going for the snipe on Vlad. He's already almost healed to his heal cap and gets some nice damage down on him. That bird is just laying the smackdown on this count. But Teclis is taking it as good as he gets, but he does have those potions of Chori still to top him up. Still 2 uses of that, and probably a regrowth. I haven't seen a ton of magic coming down from Teclis, so he probably still has a regrowth available. Looks like we got some Crypt Horrors. Yeah, they finally broke the blockade. There are some Silverin to come through here. And without a ton of infantry support, these Crypt Horrors are actually going to struggle to deal with these Silverin. Silverin have just incredibly high melee defense, and Crypt Horrors, of course, are large. Shocking, I know. So the anti-large of the Silverin will do very, very well there. Dragon Princes and the Phoenix lending their hands as well. But the Silverin alone aren't going to hold that point, even though they might trade quite well. Shadow Walkers have 1 toe on the point, and they are just firing? Are you firing? You should be firing. There we go. Bit of a microlapse. Going for Vlad. Looks like Charx has decided at this point that Vlad must die. He's the big threat to all the High Elf infantry. He's really the killing power here on the center, so if you can get rid of him, the High Elf infantry will be able to hold a lot longer, be much more safe. Looks like we had... Is that a regrowth I saw? Yeah, regrowth going down Teclis. Give him some more comp power to go and try and get Vlad out of there. Because Vlad has already farmed 2600 value just fighting this High Elf infantry. Yeah, Illyrian River Archers, like I said, I think it's the only thing he has available to summon. There's only 2 things left in his reserve. One is the other Reaver Archer. The other one's probably Fireborn, I think, has been gone for a while, which are just expensive and might not be available just yet. Teclis coming back, trying to get the snipe on Vlad once again. Does he get the hits? There's a nice hit on Vlad. Vlad's giving as good as he gets, though. That's a really cool animation. I've never seen that before. There we go. Yeah. Vlad is taking quite a beating, down only 3k HP, 2700. Teclis just chunking away at him, but the Vikings are there to support, as well as the Corpse Cart, keeping Vlad nice and safe for the time being. So Teclis to scurry off, and let's see, those birds are so slippery, you just can't really keep them on the ground. Yes, there's no mass to hold them in place, but Vampire Counts are getting the capture back on the center, which is really, really bad for the High Elves. They don't have a lot of bodies, so actually, oh, suddenly you have Silverin coming in. But Silverin are far away, and High Elves need to get on that objective very quickly. They aren't at a point where the Vampire Counts need the 3-cap. If Vampire Counts can hold this center objective for just a little while longer, they're able to finish out the game. There's only a couple minutes left. The Counts only need to hold for maybe 2 or 3 more minutes, and they'll be able to take this game in their pocket. Silverin on the far side are holding out, which is... I mean, they're not holding the objective, they're holding back, like, 5 units that could be captured on the center, which is a big deal, and they're killing off these Crypt Horrors. Like, they farmed a ton of value off those Crypt Horrors. They were nearly full health when they got... The skill burn were nearly full health when they got there, so that's most of their value. Reaver Arch coming in, and like I said, it's just... It's all the high elves have in the tank. I guess... I mean, a Fireborn resummon might be nice, but like, there's just not a whole lot in the tank. Vlad is very, very low at this point. You can get him off, maybe your infantry can start doing very, very well. Get rid of some of that SE cap weight that's really holding vampire counts on this point. Get rid of the summons. Vlad's down to, what, 1100 HP? Come on, Techless, take him out. Get him! Get him! What's Vlad at? Vlad, that's not Vlad, that's a White King. Give me Vlad! Vlad is down to only 800 hit points. Center, he's completely heal capped. Probably out of magic, too. And Kark goes to desummon right in the middle of the blob fight. Are you serious? None of these cav are gonna hit him? Really? Really? 2 seconds techless? Alright, that's kind of BS. Alright, Vlad does get out, but Tiles retake the center objective, and I think that might be it for vampire counts either way. Even with that miracle desummon, losing Vlad's presence in the center, losing the terror, and just not having anything here really to contest. A desperation backup attempt coming up with the Dire Pack to try and cap objective 1, but I think at this point, do they need to? Yeah, they need a 3-cap at this point. And perhaps they need a 3-cap, so I think High Elves have got it. Fireborn just clearing out anything that comes in. And yeah, the Fireborn have just done so much work this game. They've just gotten resummoned, but that's going to be game. Kark taps out, realizes he can't get back on all the objective in time. And yeah, that was... Whew, that was really back and forth. Like, the initial 3-cap from the vampire counts, and then High Elves flipped it back and got their own 3-cap, and that struggle for the center was like... Sharks did a really, really good job of like knowing exactly how many points you need to play for at like every point in the game, and make sure he was able to take them, and just like kind of playing around those single entities and his elite units and just farming value while giving ground, and then using that value lead he had to take it back, and really like the play on the Blood Knights, netting the one Blood Knight and just shooting the other one, giving the Fireborn and the Dragon Princess full mobility control was huge. The fact that vampire counts, all their reinforcements were getting cycle charged, getting surrounded, getting netted, and picked off, meant that their supply lines were so weak that vampire counts really just had to make do with like the single entities and the summons to hold the point, which did alright, but not enough. And like most of these high elf units paid for themselves. Most of them did it many times over, except for these guys. These guys are slackers. But we don't talk about them. Just look at the 384 kills, 700 value. Feels counts, man. Yeah. Shadow Walkers did really, really good work. Vlad himself got 3,500 value. Jeez. Yeah, the Blood Knights getting shut down was, I think, the big difference maker here. White Kings also got 2,100 value each. Jeez. These are like 900 gold single entities. Jeez. These zombies and skeletons doing nothing special. Cryptors doing Cryptor things, doing alright. Dogs, the dog play was pretty good. Bats, we didn't really see the bats come out. They're probably just if High Elves go for a more missile-oriented build, like a Lothern spam kind of thing. It can be real disruptive, but yeah, that was just a masterclass from Sharks. The value he got out of these birds was very impressive. And the nets, like I said, you don't see a whole lot of nets in Domination, so seeing him bring them in and use them to such devastating effect on those Blood Knights was just a real treat to see. But that is all I've got for you guys this time. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you next time.